Your 89.7 FM, Copperbell's Feel Good Station.
And now, from Copperbelt's News Center, FM Afternoon News.
Good afternoon. This is your FM Afternoon News. The headline: ACZ awarding of printing contracts of ballot papers to a foreign company criticized Zambia's handling of children involved in criminal activities, worries activists. In international news, Australian influencer charged with poisoning her baby.
RFM News.
With the news in detail, my name is Mercy Mulenga. Governance expert Isaac Mwanza says the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, should have considered awarding the contracts for the printing and delivery of ballot papers to a local printing company. ECZ has awarded a 3-year contract to AI Printing and Publishing of the United Arab Emirates to print and deliver ballot papers and other election materials. Reacting to this development, Mr. Mwanza noted that Zambia has credible local printing companies that can do the job as well as foreign companies. Hence, there is no need to continue giving such jobs to foreign companies. Speaking in an interview, Mr. Mwanza explained that if government printers is unavailable to print the ballot papers, ACZ can engage local private companies. He added that local companies only need to enhance their security and ensure transparency.
We believe that we must reach a stage now where we can award these contracts to our local printing companies. Zambia has the local printing companies that are very credible, that can do a same job that these foreign printing companies can do. The only thing they need is to enhance security, which we can manage to enhance security because we can deploy security wings to ensure that they monitor. We can deploy political parties as they printing these ballot papers so that everybody participates in the monitoring. We do not see why we are constantly looking to the foreign companies to print our ballot papers when we have been saying that we need to capacitate our government printer to do it. If the government printers cannot do it, why can't we engage the private sector in Zambia that can print jobs? They've been doing these fantastic jobs around the country. Why can't we give them the job to print the ballot papers for 2026? So in our view, we think that we are not being patriotic to our country.
Child rights activist Henry Kawe has raised concerns over Zambia's handling of children involved in criminal activities, citing a trend where some children are being sent home instead of receiving diversion programs. According to Mr. Kawe, this practice contradicts the law, which stipulates that children should not be imprisoned but should instead be offered counseling and reform programs. Mr. Kawe emphasized the need to re-evaluate how the justice system processes cases involving child offenders, suggesting that some aspects of the law require further clarification to ensure the diversion system works effectively. The activists also called for consultations with civil society organizations, local experts, and other stakeholders to refine legal provisions concerning juvenile offenders. Recently, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, said there were steps being taken to amend the existing Children's Code Act Number 12 of 2022 to make it more responsive to the current challenges faced by justice stakeholders in their quest to achieve child justice.
The children are sent home is what is necessitating this. So maybe there'll be need to just have a conversation around how these cases were discussed so that, we can understand the fact that the act is not saying that children can be held alive, but that they need to go through diversion and, according to what the law enforcers decide, so that we don't have a situation, where, people are now doubting, this personal legislation. But if there are any gray areas that need to be tightened in order for it to be more effective, that would be welcome. But I would appeal that there are consultations with civil society, so that we, get to agree on what should be done on the act.
The Professional Teachers Union of Zambia, PROTUS, in Kitwe, has commended District Education Board Secretary Christopher Nyungila for his dedicated service to teachers. PROTUS District Secretary Henry Nkandawire acknowledged his efforts in addressing challenges such as salary scale upgrades and promotions, noting a significant reduction in such issues under his leadership. Mr. Mkandawire has since pledged full support to Mr. Nyingela and urged teachers awaiting resolutions to remain patient as he is actively working to clear backlogs. Still in local news, energy expert Boniface Zulu says the country can expect some improvement in power generation if the rains continue to sustain the water levels at Lake Kariba. Mr. Zulu noted that the slight increase in water levels at Lake Kariba is a positive development but is not sufficient to significantly enhance electricity generation as the usable live storage for power generation remains critically low. And Mr. Zulu explained that relying solely on the Kariba Dam is very risky, highlighting that the fluctuating water levels at the dam presents both opportunities and challenges that the country must navigate carefully this year. Mr. Zulu stressed the need to diversify energy sources and implement both short-term and long-term solutions to stabilize the situation in 2025 and beyond. He added that upgrading infrastructure and investing in renewable energy by developing solar farms and wind power projects will provide sustainable and reliable energy sources.
While the slight increase in water levels at the Kariba Dam is a positive sign, it is not significant to rely solely on this source of energy needs. Diversifying our energy sources and implementing both short-term and long-term solutions will be key to stabilizing the situation in 2025 and beyond. The government must continue to push for reforms and investments that will ensure a sustainable and reliable energy future for Zambia.
Now, business news. Agricultural experts Rinik Mapanza says the arrival of tropical cyclone has brought positive effects to farmers, especially in southern province. Mr. Mapanza noted that the cyclone has influenced much of the rains in the province, which is expected to greatly benefit small-scale farmers by improving crop yields and enhancing food security for farmers in the region. Speaking in an interview, Mr. Mapanza said he has emphasized that despite concerns about potential flooding, the overall impact of the cyclone has been beneficial, highlighting that the rainfall has helped sustain crops, particularly maize. He has, however, warned that certain areas in southern province, such as Simonga and Sinde, have been prone to flooding and could face challenges if heavy rains lead to waterlogging or inundation. Mr. Mapanza has further urged farmers in these flood-prone areas to take precautionary measures to safeguard their crops, such as ensuring water flows paths are cleared to prevent damage from rising water levels.
With this most content raising to almost about 60%, which means at least it can hold for 2 weeks. If this starts having no rain, that is the crops will continue growing. And that is the close to us. And most of the farmers, what we are encouraging them, that let them continue doing B compound and those who want to breach it, and who are applying a top dressing that can do so because this month, that is seeing at least we will have rains throughout. Moreover, the advantage is to southern province where the cyclone is more or less like it has pulled down the intertropical zone, meaning at least the farmers will salvage something. It won't be like last year. For further usage, except that, flooding is flooding. You don't put it even late in the month. It might be a week or so. Then it will water out that subsidized. And it's going to damage much. But I'm very hopeful. I think the farmers they always make some flow to allow some of water to live in the field.
Now, international news.
Emergency workers are still at the.
According to China's state news agency.
International news.
Of the BBC, an Australian influencer has been charged with poisoning her baby girl to elicit donations and boost online followers. The Queensland woman claimed she was chronicling her child's battle with a terminal illness on social media, but detectives allege she was dragging the 1-year-old and then filming her in immense distress and pain. Doctors had raised the alarm in October when the baby was admitted to hospital, suffering a serious medical episode. After months of investigation, the 34-year-old woman was charged with torture, administering poison, making child exploitation material, and fraud. The BBC has more.
An Israeli cabinet meeting to approve a Gaza ceasefire and hostage deal with Hamas is reported to have been delayed. It foresees an initial 6-week truce starting on Sunday. Gaza's civil defense agency says at least 20 Palestinians have been killed since the deal was announced. In a farewell address, President Biden has warned against a dangerous new oligarchy taking shape in America. He said the concentration of extreme wealth and power threatened U.S. democracy. The suspended president of South Korea, Yoon Suk-yeol, has refused to take part in a second day of questioning about his attempt to impose martial law. The Constitutional Court is meanwhile considering whether to permanently remove him from office. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is visiting Ukraine to sign a deal on economic and military support. President Volodymyr Zelensky is keen to discuss security guarantees from allies like Britain amid concern Donald Trump may wind down US support. That's the latest BBC News.
That brings us to the end of our news. Before we go, a recap on stories making headlines. Governance expert Isaac Mwanza says the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, should have considered awarding the contract for the printing of delivery of ballot papers to a local printing company. Child rights activist Henry Kawe has raised concern over Zambia's handling of children involved in criminal activities, citing a trend where some children are being sent home instead of receiving diversion programs. In international news, an Australian influencer has been charged with poisoning her baby girl to elicit donations and boost online followers. This has been Mercy Mlenga on the news desk. Good afternoon.
Copper Bells News.